But I'm not high all the time. Yeah. Like, I'm not high during the day. Well, like most of the time.
It shows, but your chemistry is probably
Dude, get in here, Joe.
We got 4.
Sit over here.
I couldn't.
And no gay stuff, bro.
That's the number 1 rule of the Comedy Store podcast. Yeah.
No gay stuff, bro.
You can't stop me.
Yo, I called it, bro. No gay stuff.
Just
water.
Do this.
That's a Philly accent.
South Philly.
Water. I grew up in Tacony.
I remember
We'll just lean in.
Rogan's podcast when he used to do the Friday night.
Oh, that's right.
At the Ice House.
What's the name of this podcast?
The Comedy Store podcast.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Listen, if the phone's on, then you know what happens. Something funny.
Real life.
If anyone's calling me, it's
Oh
fucking
God, the
Johnny
fucking
Depp.
phone. It may be Johnny Depp calling
Deal
him.
with it.
We put Johnny Depp on speakerphone.
Yeah, whether or not
I, for one, appreciate it because it's the only day my phone's ever been on. So.
Yeah, you don't need a mic. You got that voice.
That voice.
Hello.
A voice for broadcasting. There are broadcasting voices, right? There's like a sound that a dude can hit, like a Howard Cosell, who like lets you know, the fucking game started. You know that voice worth.
We're gonna do the audiobook podcast style, so he can just. All right, here, find a fucking paragraph or a chapter or something, just because he has such a great voice. But then we can go off topic with the book.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea to offer completely original content along with your book. That's a really great. I bet that's a monster idea because I would love that as a fan, like to listen in on that.
Because I read as bad as Bill Burr does copy, and
It is pretty terrible.
You know who's the worst
but I
reader
can-
though? You ever buy an audiobook with Stephen King reading his own shit?
he swallows his L's.
He's deaf.
And I got a glove. Glove.
You want an actor. You want one of those drama
Wait,
queens.
is this on?
We're rolling.
offer your audiobook for like offer it for like
You're the
$2 a download.
Someone's a Bernie Sanders fan.
Then when you get to the last chapter, it's like, okay, you must pay $9 more if you want to hear the end of the book.
That's actually a very good idea.
Tell him to bring me an ashtray.
Shrewd. He's a Trump fan. I take it back. Don't pigeonhole me, Rogan.
Wolf in sheep's clothing.
And that's like a weird moment if you're alone with a dude and you find out he's really a Trump fan, like super Trump fan. You're like, oh, okay. Like, what do? You're alone with a guy.
This is exciting. It's like watching the Man Show too.
Live from the Comedy Store.
Eleanor and Kerrigan looking
Same
to wrestle.
amount of people are watching it, actually.
Probably slightly more.
That's perfect. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. And now if you could bring me cigarettes and a lighter.
Oh.
I'm joking.
Don't let him go out. Pink dots right
I took one hit of Doug Stanhope cigarette, and I understand it. I get it.
Smoke cigarettes?
I smoked a hit of Doug Stanhope cigarette.
Did you get the buzz?
I got a heart attack, you little thing. Little like, woo.
I quit 12 years ago.
Yeah, I smoked cigarettes for 10 years just because the first cigarette I had was so good. I'm like, I'll feel it.
But see, man, I got lucky. The first cigarette I had, it felt retarded. Really? It just felt so stupid. It was just fucking smoke and burning weirdness in my lungs. I was like, what?
Too.
I did. I just quit a few months ago.
Does it feel weird being right next to Doug?
No, I don't.
Trying
I
to
got
offer you
over
up a
that
cigarette?
mental hump. I don't want one. I do have like a douchey e-cigarette in my pocket because when I start to get drunk, I just want
They're
to...
only douchey because of those commercials. They fucked up with those blue commercials where Steven Dorff was like hanging out in black and white.
I have a question because they made it was illegal to advertise cigarettes like in the 70s.
Right.
But podcasting is a new generation. Is that could we
That's a very good point.
Get a Camel?
That's a very good point.
Oh.
I wonder what the law is if it pertains to all commercial endeavors. Like if you advertise something, like, but can they still do ads on billboards?
I don't think
No,
so.
I don't think so.
That stopped too, right?
Yeah.
So it used to be like TV, and then it was
wasn't
TV.
around when the fucking law got
Yeah,
passed.
I don't think it's written
That's a good
in,
point.
so...
Yeah, that's a good point.
I would have moral compunction about advertising cigarettes, but just because I found a loophole, I would.
But if Marlboro was going to give you, a bunch of money to just, if you said I smoke Marlboro.
Was going to give me Marlboros, I'd
That's a cheap sell.
There you go.
But do you think it's probably just all ads? Because have you ever seen an internet ad for cigarettes?
No.
I don't think I've ever seen an internet. So it can't be that it can't be legal on the internet. Because if it was, we would have seen.
All the time.
Yeah,
I used to do a bit. You don't see an advertisement for cocaine because it's word of mouth.
Right.
that's true.
You don't need to advertise. They don't
All the
need
cool
to spend
people
money.
are doing it.
Yeah, I wonder if they drop off like cigarettes on movie sets. You know, because do you know that they do that with like TV sets? Like TV sets, they drop off like Coca-Cola and Gatorade and shit.
Put it in the rider.
Yeah, but not just that. But I'm saying is they give you free stuff. They give free stuff to these sets so that you use their stuff. And if you use their stuff, then either people see you with it or you know. You ever
when we did the Man Show, there was a cigarette company, like a startup called Legit Cigarettes, and they were giving me free cigarettes for life till they went out of business.
How terrible!
As long
is
as
it,
I would smoke those publicly, and that was their gimmick. They were going to get celebrities.
It's a good move. I wonder why it didn't pan out.
You got Stanhope and Morton Downey Jr.
They had an awesome Morton Downey Jr. Oh, I did the show later.
Too big to fail.
I did the show. You remember when Greg Kinnear had that show called Later?
Yeah.
We had a bunch of guest hosts, and I guest hosted it once, and I did a segment with Morton Downey Jr. where I was trying to get Morton Downey Jr. to give me advice on like how to become like a good talk show host because he was crazy.
Yeah.
You ever watch the show? It was a maniac
You watch that
show.
documentary?
The
Yeah.
documentary is
So-
one of the best documentaries ever.
So I got to hang with him like for a day. He was one of the nicest fucking guys. Like Morton Downey Jr. was super nice. It was all just an act.
Yeah.
Like he just figured out a way to rile people up and do this thing. But when you're around him, like in real life, he's like, "Hey, how are you? What's going on, man?" He's like totally normal, like really friendly, really
was
nice
such
guy.
bullshit when all those racists tackled him in an airport men's room.
He made up some
spray painted
craziness,
a
and
not-
didn't he write like a
swastika on his
swastika
face,
on his head the wrong way?
Shaved
He
his
did
head.
it in the mirror.
'Cause he did- There's like parts like he was like,
Okay.
they tried to shave my head.
But do you know which way it goes off the top of your head?
Well, that's what kind of busted him. They said you could tell he drew it in the mirror because it was fucking backwards.
But would you know how to do it forwards?
I think it's
I don't know.
true
If I-
Nazi.
looking at it, I probably
I
would.
True call
Nazi.
you on that.
But
how do you know it's the wrong
But
way?
true Nazis probably wouldn't write it on your head. They're probably just retards.
What?
They're not really.
have it on
They're
their
probably not even really Nazis. They're gonna hold you down and draw their mark on your face. They're probably just pretending to be Nazis because it's funny.
But he's pretending to be kind of.
well, he did. He definitely pretended.
Yeah, but,
But-
he would be like Nazis would love him. Like, why would
Maybe.
Nazis do that to him?
Yeah.
I was amazed.
Would a Nazi do that to Trump?
I would say it's 2 steps removed because I said the most likely scenario would be someone holding him down and pretending they're a Nazi because they think it would be funny to write on Morton Downey Jr.'s head.
Yeah.
It's like if it really happened.
Or eat.
That's Joe Rogan.
But
Yeah.
but I don't
Rogan is here.
but I don't think it really did happen.
came
So
down.
then it's like if you had to do a Nazi swastika on your head, would you get it right? Like if you were looking in the mirror, would you be like, okay, is it like this or is it like this? Which fucking way does it go?
I mean, we
does
all
anybody
have
know?
fucking
I'd write it
smartphones. I'd look it
down.
up first. And
Yeah, to write
Yeah,
it down.
well, it
like
was before
racist. I don't
smartphones.
know.
You couldn't Google it.
Do you know what's crazy is like
I don't know.
They
that
came down,
symbol.
it was penis or swastika, and they went swastika.
That swastika symbol was an ancient karate symbol. It was an ancient Okinawan karate symbol. Like it was a part of like ancient Eastern like sacred geometry. Like this little thing, this swastika thing.
Yeah.
Like whatever it meant originally.
There's some temple that has it on there. And
In-
they
in
fight
West
to keep it
Hills.
in there.
Yeah, there's a big sign and it's an Indian people go there and get married. It's this beautiful place. But it
Eleanor,
existed.
can you announce who's at the table? This is
We're
Chad
talking about
Shank.
swastikas.
Oh,
I know.
it
I'm
was-
just trying
it
to
was really
get.
hard to interrupt the
No one
swastikas.
cares. We
Yeah.
write
You know what I mean?
write down on the internet what it is.
Yeah, it's
But
Down on the
but
Well, even Ki-
Well,
well,
this-
we
what
can
is it?
write. We can introduce it.
Qigong?
You have to introduce.
Everybody's gonna know.
Chad Shank. I was giving you
swastika.
Chad Shank.
Does it?
Chad Shank. Is
Chad
busy.
Shank.
Chad,
like that
Chad
name,
Shank just
Chad
informed us that Qigong has a
I'm
swastika
trying
in
to bring
it.
this down
Thank
a
you.
bit so we're not all talking over each other.
Okay, so what is Chad?
You know the
Shank
way to
do?
cure that?
Chad Shank is my co-host on my podcast.
That is awesome.
subtle,
And
you
what
got
is
it.
the way to cure that, Joe?
Nothing. I was talking over you guys.
Bitch.
I was joking.
Right after this podcast, I'm going to beat the shit out of you in front of your friends. and I hope you're happy about it.
It was really. I thought it was a clear joke.
Whatever.
This is the Comedy Store podcast. If anyone is wondering what's going on right now, we are in our new studio in the basement. The finishing.
Never been down here.
The carpet on the walls.
Heard a lot of people died in this basement.
This is one of the alleged haunted areas of the Comedy Store, but.
Rick Ingraham, may I ask you, sir, because you have been a resident of this fine establishment for many, many a moon. Have you fucking seen anything? Have you ever seen a ghost? Have you ever seen any inclination?
I've never seen a ghost. I got really high in the belly room one time, and there was like 3 of us. We're all sitting in there. The lights were out, and basically just the emergency light was on.
Mm-hmm.
And we were pretty positive. Like, all of us turned at the same time because it seemed like someone was walking in the hallway from the belly room to the green room, and there was nothing there. And then we all just got real freaked out, like, we got to leave. But we were also really high, so
that's true. But I've been really high all over this place.
Never had any.
And the belly room freaks me the fuck out.
It's the creepiest,
dude. I've been up there a couple times in the last 6 months. I go up there with a friend. Come on, dude, let's go in the belly room. No, there's no show. And you go up to the top of the stairs, just stand there and look at that place. And you go, what the fuck are we doing here? We got to get out of here, man. We got to get out of here, man.
I saw Joe Rogan last week.
Yeah.
Doing some goofy show where people yell out topics and you have to riff, and fucking Rogan killed it.
Oh, Jeremiah's show.
Jeremiah Watkins.
On the spot or whatever.
That room is so ripe to do specials, to film specials. I fucking hate specials that are filmed in theaters and the applause. Just like Jim Norton. I saw a Jim Norton special in a 1,500-seater, and you know how Norton riffs, and you know the audience is ruining his special because they applaud all the time, and you're fucking ruining his rhythm.
Well, I think you're making a real good point that we make all the time. This point that this is a giant difference. I mean, you and I have had about 100 conversations about this between your rhythm that you do in a little intimate environment and the rhythm that you do in a big theater. Because in like 150 people, you can just keep hammering them with punchlines, and they can hear everything you're saying. But one of the things that I realized by sitting in the audience of a Louis Black show, I was in Jersey and he was there the night before I was. So Joey Diaz and I walked across the street and we sat down. We sat in the audience and watched the show like in the back towards the middle. So we had like good seats. We were right in there. But I was like, whoa, it is hard to hear when he's killing and everyone's laughing. And then he says something else. Well, if you say something while people are laughing, like people just started going, "What did he say? What did he just say?"
That's annoying.
But people were laughing that heard it. But there was like you might miss a percentage of the audience.
Stinks.
With the
you know what you should do? Get those. You know when you go to a museum, they give you
Brendon
headphones.
Walsh. Are you here on the podcast?
Brendon Walsh, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Produce people.
Yeah.
Yes. Joe Rogan. We have Brendon.
Twitter's
Chad
own
Shank.
Brendon Walsh.
Chad Shank.
I think we already did this a couple of times.
We got to do it every
Groundhog
over
Day. Groundhog Day up in this bitch.
Yeah, we'll clear it all up in editing. We just did the very beginning before the swastika discussion that we have every week on the Comedy Store podcast.
I'm so high. I forgot what we were talking about, but it was so important while we were talking about it. To me, it was so important.
Filming.
No, here's the question. What is the number? What is the number where it gets weird? Because
in the special.
but here's the thing.
150. Because I'm like, all right, there must be a mix-up. Why are there this many people here to see me? Did they put Hal Sparks on the calendar on accident? Sparks! Stop it!
The only thing that could have been better is Screech from Saved by the Bell.
Just crushing, and then stabbing someone.
No, Hal Sparks is better because it's subtly ruthless.
I wasn't. The only reason I said that is he was there the night after I did the Ice House.
I remember
probably
Hal Sparks back when I used to actually have to do my own fulfillment of merch from my website. Hal Sparks bought my CD.
Wow.
He's a nice guy.
Wow.
I had him on the podcast early days.
Yeah, no,
early days. Very nice guy.
Well, here's my question about filming in the belly room. So you film in a room that small, it would be awesome. But with cameras and crew in there,
And
how
a
many
mirror on
people?
one side.
Well, I was talking to
Got to see a
Jesselnick.
cameraman in a mirror.
I did.
Oh shit, that's so true. That's strong as fuck. Jesselnick was telling me today about how he filmed his Netflix special at the Fillmore Theater in San Francisco, which is pretty small. It's
Yeah.
only like 450 people. but he filmed it with mounted stuff to the walls, and people had like remote controls.
Oh, nice.
So with that, you could easily do that in the belly room. You set something up above the crowd in a couple spots, and you only really want a head on and a sideways. That's
And
all
you need
want.
a
It's
fucking
so
drone flying around, getting like the flyover
Indoor
crowd
drone.
shots.
shaped like a dick, like a bumblebee with a big
Because that would
dick.
add to the show too, where it's like you got a drone
see the
like
drone.
It makes noise
I'm
too.
trying to figure out.
Oh shit!
They're gonna let me film a special in the main room.
They are? Who's
Yeah.
they? These powers that
Comedy
be?
Store.
The Dark Lords? Baltimore?
They,
who are you
Lord
filming?
Baltimore?
But they got me on camera
Who
too.
are you filming?
And,
Oh shit!
Yeah, I don't know how to do it.
Brendon Walsh,
trying to-
ruthless.
Get shots of
Grew
the
up in
crowd.
Texas.
America's hater.
Because I do a lot of crowd work, so I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to do it to where I can get shots of the crowd, but a wall mount might be the only way without
Work this
showing the
crowd.
cameraman.
Ask me what I do.
What do you do?
Where are you from?
from?
What do you do? Nice shirt. I do that.
You've always preferred that. You've always preferred that fucking around with the crowd thing. It's interesting.
Yeah, it made. I always. Well, one, the jokes I used to tell weren't good, so when I started doing crowd work, it was just like I know I'm funnier than this. I'm from Kansas.
I know
it's
I'm
crazy.
funnier than my act. Well, that's a good.
Aren't we all?
I know.
Everybody, fuck yeah, I am.
Yeah.
But for you, like importantly, like there was a lot of people that got really fucking weird about having to follow you.
Yeah,
It was a giant issue with people. It's like there's a certain segment of our community that gets upset when someone's doing good. They don't like it. And if you're doing good in some method that is different than the way I'm doing it, then somehow or another I have this
You were
right.
fucking a stool like Dane Cook tonight, but it was funny.
It's a different kind of fucking bro. He was, first of all, I fucked it first, and then he started
Joe makes
fucking
love to
like
the
he
stool.
just
That's a
changed
whole
it
different
around
thing.
a little. But what you were doing, like you didn't have any power, man, and it was really fucked up because there was a
Yeah.
bunch of dudes who. This is from my perspective. There's a bunch of dudes who didn't want to follow Rick Ingraham because Rick Ingraham would fuck around with the crowd, and he's got so much material on top of fucking around with the crowd, and you do it all the time. So it's a muscle that you have really exercised.
Yeah,
So there was a bunch of
became really
bullshit.
shitty.
There was but it's a bunch of bullshit because you weren't doing anything wrong. You were doing really funny comedy. Caller, we're gonna have to hang up. This is boring. You're blowing
That
Rick
just,
Ingraham.
That just shows what the other comics are made of, though. Like, I would
Yeah.
rather go up after a fun. Like, if somebody's killing and they're awful and hacky, then you're like, well, what the
That's a
fuck
horrible
am I
feeling.
gonna? Yeah, and
That's
it's
a horrible
like,
feeling.
well, they're not gonna like me if they like this
Then
shit.
you
Yeah,
hate
and my
the
problem.
crowd.
Well,
I'm
Doug
gonna go up and
Stanhope,
talk about how
Doug
crappy
Stanhope,
they are.
tell the story about the old Hedberg days, where Hedberg people used to put these middle acts on in front of Hedberg that would do fucking somersaults. They would shoot firecrackers out of their ass. They would sing R&B songs. They would have these big, high energy middle acts, and then Hedberg would go on after him before people knew who he was.
That's tough.
And they didn't know how to adjust.
Yeah.
It was just shitty planning and shitty filming.
Yeah,
And-
tell that story.
And you know how you got
Joe's
into it.
busy doing it, Shank. Quiet.
I'll just move on. I thought about it now. I thought about the actual story and I went,
Doug, let me hear
yeah.
that story.
You know, the point being,
You don't know.
you got there's two ways to look at it. Like in one way, like a guy like Hedberg has to be shielded in a way. Like he's so goddamn good. It's almost like, listen, you got to find out how good he is. Everybody just get on board. Once you find out how good he is, it doesn't matter who goes on before him.
I don't do like mixed bill shows. Hey, you want to do a set tonight? No, I don't. I want to do a set in front of my crowd where I know that they're gonna accept everything. I don't want to fucking deal with tourist shit. I don't like doing
is that a-
comedy that much.
You don't like the
I
comedy
totally hear what you're saying.
But I see what you're saying. Like, you just want your crowd that came to see
Well,
you.
that
I
kind of energy,
fucking
though.
spent 25 years building
Right.
my crowd. I'm not going to go up and ruin all my self-confidence by going up on a Saturday night at the Comedy Store to do 10 minutes where if I have a bit, it's 15 minutes long.
Right.
And I'm going to try to truncate it to...
Well, listen, I got news for you, dude. if your name is on the marquee, people are going to be your fans. They're going to show up. I mean, they're going to be your fans.
If my name's on the marquee, I'm making a fucking lot of money.
But you don't have to. Look, this is the thing about this place.
You're weird like that. You
I'm
like
not.
to do fucking
I know what I'm
all the time.
No.
I'm just trashing you on some radio station.
I do like to do it, but
honesty here at the Comedy Store Podcast.
No, hang
please
on.
tell me. Tell me before people get mad at me on
Colorado,
Twitter.
I think you lasted like 6 weeks.
No,
and his wife
it was
went
a little
off
bit
the
more.
road. But
she crashed her car.
I can't see Joe
Slid down a
Rogan
mountain.
being alive if he's not within 15 minutes of a comedy.
No. That was one of the reasons why I moved to Colorado. It's because the Comedy Works in Denver.
Yeah.
Wendy has like this full open mic
But you
program.
lived in the mountains. The point is, you like to do comedy.
I just look at him.
I like to be with
animals.
The rumor I heard was Rogan's moving back from Colorado because coyotes ate his dog.
No, it was a mountain lion. A mountain lion. We found a mountain lion on our property, and it started creeping around the house.
Did it eat your dog?
Yeah, it took the dog.
Point is,
I
you
would've
can't
loved to
live
be
without
there.
doing comedy. I love not doing comedy.
I could totally see your point of view, and I could totally fall into that too. It's not that I only love doing comedy. I love doing a lot of shit. It's just I've been doing comedy for so long, I decide to give it a lot of love.
You like to work.
But like I might just like to go camping. How about that? I might just like to take a Toyota fucking Toyota Land Cruiser and go in the mountains. I don't want to do any more sets. Eventually, you have to abandon comedy
Okay, let's bring it back to
or die in a hotel like George Carlin. That might be the move too.
You know what?
He died in a hotel?
Quick question.
I hope he did.
Joseph.
I keep wanting to call.
I hope it was in Vegas.
Keep wanting to call
Circus.
Eleanor Nancy Kerrigan.
You son of a bitch.
Oh, the shittiest
I'll hit
one.
you with a skate. Don't call me that shit.
We saw
I
it.
fought Tanya Harding. Fuck up.
That white
did.
trash whore. Wait.
Eleanor would
you
fuck up
showcase
Tanya
here.
Harding. You
I
just
will.
say it.
I will. Hold on. I know the only non-paid regular is Brendon, but we'll get to
Oh,
that.
that's
in a
all right.
sec.
So
We're
it's
this
a
is
long drive.
showcase
No, he's
for
doing
you.
a drop,
Don't
and
worry
I saw
about
his Twitter.
But when you showcased here, was that you in the beginning building your audience?
What is this, a
You
real
came
fucking
here
interview
the
all of a
time.
sudden? How dare
I
you,
wanna ask him a
Eleanor?
question.
When I showcased here, I
remember
had
that.
my favorite bit I've ever written. It was about TWA Flight 800 back when.
We're talking funny already. Now we're
Got shot down by a missile.
I honestly, to this day, there was a fucking hot waitress at the Improv that said. She came out. I was sitting at the bar back to the old Improv, and she's came out bitching about the fucking hackney comedy she's listening to, which I was on her side. And Flight 800 was on the TV at the bar, and she goes, "Yeah, make that funny."
done.
And I went home and I wrote a fucking one of the best bits. I didn't deliver it as well because I was young, but my favorite bit I've ever written was about that. And
So you didn't.
and so I had that hip pocketed. I'd never had the balls to come here, and I came here. And Mitzi, back when she was alive,
No, she's still alive. All right, go
She's
ahead.
still alive. Weekend at Bernie's.
How dare you?
style alive.
Hey,
But-
bro, we're in her house. Respect.
she goes, I did that bit because I was when you had to get
That was your gay
cast.
bit. Yeah.
What year?
I did that bit.
Do you remember it?
It was, well, you can Google it. It's when it was
Yeah.
When the
obviously,
flight
when
went
the flight
3
went-
weeks
It's
after
like
Flight
80,
800.
97, 96,
Yeah, because I know I
97.
was here for it.
Because it was right before that.
She
Remember,
goes, I like you.
Yes.
You remind me of a
Wait a minute.
Sam
remember
Kinison.
there was another plane right after Flight 800, Value Jet, that crashed into the
Florida.
fucking swamps in Florida, and they never fucking got it out because there was too many alligators
Do you
in
know?
there.
Do you know how I
Like,
know
what a
about
fucking!
this?
Not only does your plane crash, but it crashes into a swamp full of alligators.
That's
Good
a
news,
David-
we're alive.
Hang
but-
on, David Talbot. My favorite plane crash, and I know it's wrong to have a favorite, is a plane crashed off the coast of Colombia, and it said some of the survivors were eaten by sharks. How bad is your luck where the two weirdest things that could ever happen to you happen in the same day? Did someone fuck a leprechaun on this flight?
That's great.
That's so fucking funny.
Showcased with that bit, it didn't get passed. Isn't that weird?
Eleanor, do you remember the Paul Mooney bit about value jet? Do you remember Paul Mooney? He used to do this bit about the black lady clutching her purse.
Oh, yeah.
Remember? He used to do this bit about about how cheap value jet was and that you knew it was going to crash. You knew that shit was going to crash eventually. Oh my God, Mooney had some hilarious shit about that.
Their purse.
Yeah.
Shit's going down.
They get eaten by crocodiles.
That was 96.
Really, Paul Mooney brought it to a racial place?
He
Dude,
did it once.
you didn't
it didn't
even
work
see
out,
it
so he
coming.
steered clear after
You
that.
didn't see it come. No, it was a funny bit. I remember laughing really hard.
I used to love watching Paul Mooney.
Oh,
God, he's
dude.
one of my favorites here. Because he would just clear the audience, and I knew I could go home early.
Mooney was
As a doorman.
he
feeling.
intimidated the shit out of me.
Oh, yeah.
He was
Mooney?
also one of the only people Eddie Griffin would respect.
Oh yeah, you had to respect Mooney.
He's the Reverend Al Sharpton of comedy.
He'd let-
No, he's way more respected.
He only referred to me as the white lady. He would
The white lady.
He would call up, "Oh, is the white lady in? The white lady's going to cash my check. Make sure you tell the white lady I'm coming in." I'd be like, they come in the kitchen.
yeah,
Do you know
but
who the white lady is? I'm like, that's me. They're like, but you're all white. I'm like, but you're not as cool.
Hennigan,
This white.
my
They are
manager,
white.
this filthy Scotsman here
There he
taking
is.
pictures.
Look at him. Thank you for
He
taking pictures.
every time we're on the road, he likes to ask the wait staff, like, who's the worst comic you've had to deal with? And Eddie Griffin is always
At
in the top
of the
three.
list. Oh.
He needs to get a carton of smokes and a new sneakers at every show, right?
See?
That's what the
Someone picked him
improv
up
people
in a
told
white
me.
car, and he waited. I ain't getting no fucking white car.
wow. Well, you know, have some respect. Okay, how about bring him a fucking black car?
Is that too much to ask? I mean,
So
we're talking
whoa! You expect him to get in a white car?
We're talking about a guy
How about you
who
think
considered
about your
I guess
own
he doesn't
life?
use Uber.
top 3 of all time. I mean, as he used to say, he got into Harvard and Yale, but he chose to drop out of
Eddie
K
Griffin
State.
did?
My favorite.
That's what he claims. None of it's
Listen,
true.
no,
but-
listen.
I
You
claim a
don't
lot of
know
college.
this. I'm standing up for Eddie Griffin right now.
I love
You don't
it.
know shit. You don't know nothing about him.
You're scared of him.
MMA
training.
I'm scared of his talent. Let me tell you something
Eddie's
for real.
very talented.
Eddie Griffin,
Absolutely.
when he was on
Pipe in.
Chad Shank, when he was on Def Comedy Jam, Eddie Griffin did a set on Def Comedy Jam. He was wearing shorts. I mean, he crushed so hard that I remember sitting there. I was an open micer at the time. I was like, oh my God. When you see a guy who crushes that hard, it makes you feel like, I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to do that. He had a high hat on, he had shorts on, and he fucking destroyed. If Eddie Griffin rather could have stayed on track.
Comedy a fashion show now?
Yeah.
No.
Obviously.
He just
Doug.
looked
Look at your
ridiculous, but I'm
beautiful
telling you, that fucking dude had talent.
See, I
Crazy.
I never saw him.
He's insane, but he had
yeah.
talent that
Joe.
in its best form when he could hold on to it. It's like a wrestling match with a fucking steroided dolphin.
right.
It's like
At
you
what point,
barely got
Joe-
it. Wow!
Joe?
It gets away from you.
Joe,
Why don't
at
you
what
have
point,
shank him?
because we are in the business, at what point do you go, well, that guy's a dick?
He's not a dick. Eddie's crazy. He's not a bad guy. He's always been good to me. Me and him have always been cool.
I only
Well,
know
just
him-
like Steve Sharippa. When Steve Sharippa liked you,
Yeah.
you go, ooh,
Yeah.
he likes me.
Oh, no, but Steve,
he's a dick to everyone else.
Well, he's not a dick. He's just,
I'm
if you
saying-
get out of line, he's the wrong guy. He's the wrong guy. He will smack you in your fucking head. It
He
doesn't matter if
smacked
he's
my
been on The
face.
Sopranos.
Sharippa, not Eddie.
Yeah. Sharippa smacked you in the face?
Yeah,
Eddie-
smack me in the face.
Whoa.
You're doing.
Sharippa hit you for real?
Yeah, but funny.
Oh.
Funny.
Shit out of
It's
my
still.
face.
I was a kid.
He's an
I
animal.
was a kid
I
with a
know
mullet. You're doing 7 minutes, not 7:01, not 6:99, and slap me in the face.
Oh, I
He's
love
an
it.
animal.
See,
What are you
Steve-
doing? This
Steve
puppy
Sharippa-
fucking.
I get along with those dudes.
I used to help him. I used to get people to the Riviera. I think I booked Ricky,
yeah.
didn't I?
The Riviera is like a lot of people's first Vegas gig.
Ari Shafir and Steve Ranazizi, I got them booked, and they both got banned for life.
Good for them.
Yeah, they got me in trouble with Sharippa.
Nice.
First 9/11, then that.
Joey Diaz got banned.
When will Steve?
Joey Diaz got banned for a little bit. Yeah, he got banned for something. I don't remember what happened. But Sharippa, like, that guy kept that gig. He's a savage. He's a savage. A bona fide, legitimate savage is trying to keep it together and eat pizza. But at the end of the day, Steve Sharippa he's a gorilla and he'll crush your head with a rock. I don't care how many shows he's been on. He'll go knee to chest on you and smash your fucking head with a bowling ball. And there's not a goddamn thing you got to do about it either. That's a real legit gorilla. He's a great guy though.
Like
Me and him
Chad
have always
Shank.
been friends.
Chad Shank. I don't know MMA, but I know how to use my elbows.
Like Chad Shank.
How did this guy feel about Eddie Griffin? Did he like him? Did Griffin perform at the Riviera?
I don't know if he did. I don't know if he did.
I only knew Eddie Griffin he was already really crazy.
Right.
He'd go up for like 3
What
hours.
year did you get here?
I got here in 2002.
Yeah, so Eddie was at his best in the 90s.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
everyone,
there was
talking about like
Yeah,
he's so
yeah,
great, and I'm
yeah,
watching
yeah.
this guy just basically have breakdowns on stage, and he would steal champagne out of like he'd distract the manager and then have his entourage steal champagne.
Allegedly, say allegedly, at the very least.
Allegedly,
Disparaging
it's
him.
not allegedly. If
Said
you watch
by a
it,
guy who can be sued. Once you have enough money to be sued, you go allegedly.
Allegedly, sir.
Well, how did
I've
like
got
him and
$8,000
Katt
in
Williams
my
seem
life.
to have had the same career?
How about Martin
trajectory?
Lawrence?
No.
This
And
is
Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
Like, so don't you
Martin's
think
not
there
a
might be
crazy
something
fan.
to that Illuminati
but it's not-
Professor Griff like theory of
okay.
Yeah,
Here's the most
We have to not talk over each other. This
Yeah.
podcast is shit.
the most likely scenario is someone who's really funny is someone who's a little imbalanced, so they seek attention in a very extreme way. They figure out how to get really good at making people love them because people don't love them enough when they're young. So they get to a certain stage, and then all of a sudden people are loving them, and not just loving them, they're loving them en masse all throughout the world. They can't go anywhere. They're praised too much, and they start to freak the fuck out.
All right,
and they
I'm
don't know how to
host
navigate
this,
the roller
and
coaster.
Brendon
Thank you.
was saying, what?
that.
What happened to Katt Williams?
Katt
What happened
Williams
to
and
Eddie
Eddie
Griffin?
Griffin seem to
What
have
had
a
happened
very,
to Martin Lawrence?
And Martin Lawrence, and then you have Professor Griff from Public Enemy.
But he went different. He got radicalized.
But he's all got, and you even hear from like Chappelle on that Inside the Actor Studio, where it's like when young black guys get successful, they're targeted by somebody.
And I think your Philadelphia's coming out.
I could see how he would think that. I could see how he would think
AIDS
that.
way?
It's way more likely.
Racism, the other side.
It's way more likely that there's no profit to be made by holding them back, and moreover, there's more profit to be made by propping them up. I highly doubt that someone's going to spend money to try to tank them. I think quite the opposite. They would spend money to medicate them, to prop them up, to get them shrinks, to get them a handler.
But if you're not going to
get
put
them a
on
driver,
the dress, though,
if you're not going to what?
Like if they're not going to
Yeah,
put
but
on,
see,
do what they say. But
here's the thing. That's a
Eleanor
trope.
wants to talk.
I agree with Joe in a way. Not to shit on you.
I'm not. I'm just-
here's
here's
to do with it.
Eleanor, what you do is you go, Joe has a good point, and then Joe shuts the fuck up because ego. Oh, he's gonna.
I like that
They're
this is
talking
like
about
a
me.
tutorial.
There's a. There's such a psychology.
I just had a point. I just wanted to get it
You
out.
have a point.
That's all I had.
I understand what you're saying.
Powerful
but
Doug Stanhope.
Eddie and Martin were repped by my first ex-fiance. So they did try very hard to keep
Get
them
Joe a
in
drink.
uniform, keep them out there, keep
Oh,
them
it's
working. What, Doug? Remember we were
What are you
working.
drinking?
All right.
Sorry.
Doug is yelling
Should
at
I
his
get my
manager.
apron on?
What the fuck?
I was also saying that like 90%
Jack
for
and Coke.
comedic effect,
I
saying
know,
that
but
Professor Griff was right.
Can I?
But you would never think that the government is really trying to sabotage young black guys that are
Look
successful.
what they're doing
I
to
mean
poor
not
Bill Cosby.
systematically or whatever. I mean, I would think that if there's somebody who could really change the world, the government would like. Maybe John Lennon was shot by somebody.
Did you see
like
season 3 of Martin?
Yes.
that. No, I
That's
don't.
that
I mean, I don't
dude.
know. I was like in high school when it was out,
Shanae
so-
on that.
right?
That,
What was
yo,
that? That
that's
was like
that
an-
dude. He could have done it. He could have done it. They didn't
that
want
was
it.
his
He had a
fucking
powerful
imagine.
message. He had a powerful message of imagination.
But Katt Williams went really crazy because now he's basically famous.
Fighting
'cause
high school kids
Yeah, he's
and-
the guy who's getting knocked out by high school kids on YouTube.
Well, let's just you're disparaging Katt's name, so let's back up here. He
I saw that.
He didn't even get choked out. He got out wrestled. That's all.
And I'm pretty sure it was junior high.
I think you're right.
No, he's
Great.
15.
Yeah.
The kid
Smart.
is 15. Allegedly, someone said 17. Someone said it's a lie. It's actually 17. Either way,
It's a tough fall.
either way, if a 17-year-old fucks you up for real,
Shank is crushing it.
Wait, Shank, yeah. That's
why is a 17-year-old and you in a fight?
Yeah, why are you in that situation?
Why are you at a high school, Katt Williams? Let's start from
I
square
don't think he
one.
was. I think he was at the projects, and this kid was a high school wrestler.
He was
right?
doing some kind of.
No, it was a school thing. Yeah, it was a charity thing.
I don't even research it at all, and I'm willing to argue with
Now
you.
this is the View now. We're just a bunch of fucking gossiping cunts. What I heard.
I was realizing while I was saying, "Nah, dude, I think it was at the projects." I didn't even. I might have seen something on someone else's computer. Like, what's going on over there? Why is Katt Williams fighting?
I
that
half
kid?
watched the Twitter link.
He's just laying down against the wall and some kids are being dicks.
Have you ever had a fight with a teenager as an adult? Let's go.
No. I stay away from teenagers
Did you ever have a fight?
by law.
Did you ever have a fight?
Yeah,
growing up,
I
did you fight a
had
lot?
one fight. It's a long story, but
That's all right. We got time.
it was
Fight stories
Since you won't go up
it was
tonight.
an improv.
Eleanor
where-
Kerrigan, she's here all week.
see how my nose is caved in on this side? That was a Tempe improv waiter,
Oh,
and I deserved it.
shit.
He punched you in the head.
Really?
Yeah, but I was asking for it.
What'd you do?
He
said, "Will you please
with his
punch me now?"
girlfriend in front of him as they dropped me off at the condo. I thought she might want to fuck me.
I think it's funny that you think getting punched in the head is being in a fight.
I headbutted the guy first. 'cause
All right.
Now,
I also think it's funny that he said it's a long story, and that was by far the most direct short story.
you were a
ever
really
read.
good editor, dude. Your stories are fucking awesome. You
I
don't
have
even
that.
play games.
I got beat up in Alaska.
I almost got.
No,
But
I
let's
showed up in
before we
Alaska
move on to a
after
new
that.
story, let's figure out what the fuck happened over here, folks. Jesus Christ, Douglas, why did you? Why were you convinced that? Thank you. Why were you convinced that it was going to happen with you and the girl? Maybe she was sending some weird signals because she likes fights.
No, she was sending weird signals like, if I fuck you, would you tell stories in the morning? We were at some 80s fucking dance thing,
asking
and
for it.
after it's a fucking long story.
She's a rabble.
She's a dirty girl.
This is 1995. So if
Dirty
I
girls.
met a girl at a show in Anchorage, Alaska, and she came to our show. I was there with Renazizi, and then she's like, "Hey, we should get out of here." I'm just like, "Yeah, this is great." She's like, "Let's stop at this other bar first, and then we'll go." I'm like, "Okay." We walk in the other bar and immediately just see 3 or 4 dudes much larger than myself all get up, and I was like, "Oh, this isn't."
first
good.
of all, are these black guys? Because the way
Alaska.
the way your
Nope.
countenance just went 3 or 4 guys.
No, they were white dudes. They were snowmobilers,
Yeah, there you go.
and one of them was the boyfriend of the girl I was with.
Of
And
course.
she very clearly was just trying to get a fight going. And security broke us up. Security's like real hardcore there. Where it's like if you get in a fight at a bar, then you get banned from going to bars for like a year.
Yeah,
or
because
something.
dudes have whaling knives on their fucking belts.
And they took me.
It's a terrible place to get in a fight.
He escorted me. Security escorted me to the back door, and they were pushing the other guys towards the front door. And he took me to the back, and he opened the door, and he said, "I can't do anything once you're outside of the bar. So if I were you, I would run." And I just walked out. It was January, so covered in snow and ice, and I was running like the 4-minute mile.
And was anybody behind you running after you?
No, because they would have had to go all the way around the buildings to get to where I was.
So they didn't know you were running away.
I mean, they probably assumed any one of these guys
That's
could have
so
kicked my ass
scary.
alone.
Well, the problem is, it's like they feel like especially when they're drunk, that they have the right to do that because
And I'm
you
with
show
the
up
guy's
with their
girl.
girl.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck could you have known? You know?
Yeah, I'm literally thinking she just wants to do another drink to think I'm a little more attractive.
How does it? But see, I put it on the guy.
How many drinks?
The guy should
8 or 9
know.
at this point.
A guy should know what kind of fucking crazy bitch he's dating if she does shit like that.
Yeah.
And if you know that that's what you're doing, you're hanging out with a girl is that fucking crazy, then it's supposed to be on
But
you.
he might like it too. Like
Yeah.
he might like fighting, and
Might.
it's like
Yeah. Well, he might be just too dumb. I'm going interested.
it's like that wolf that they send out.
I've been in a fuckload of drunken fights, and you guys are way overanalyzing drunken fights. There's not a lot of logic involved.
I don't think I like
Welcome
that.
to my world.
Yeah, there's not.
Dude, I can't even watch children's cartoons without finding the hitting meaning. I'm an asshole.
Did you say Brendon, you had a fight in Alaska as well?
I mean, I got like kind of beat up in Alaska, but it was
How do you get kind of...
well, it was.
Fire, this is uncomfortable.
This is. I mean, I got my ass kicked in Philly a bunch of times, but
Tell the story, but don't let me forget to tell your Sioux Falls, South Dakota story.
Oh, yeah.
because
Oh,
that's
boy.
a fucking genius story.
all right. Well, the
Sioux
Alaska
Falls,
one and
South
Becker.
Dakota.
Sioux, yeah, Sioux
This
Falls
one is
a bad one.
Anchorage. Tell your
Okay,
Anchorage,
Anchorage.
but don't forget to do
Yeah, all right. So
on a
Anchorage
slow dance.
was I tried to dance. I was funny dancing in Sioux Falls. We could probably
All right, let's do
wait
that
up.
first.
Let's go to Sioux Falls.
Sioux Falls.
I come in to do a one night show. He's done the week, and I'm doing a Sunday or something.
Yeah.
So he comes in and tells me about Saturday. I'm doing the Sunday. Saturday night, you go out after with the staff
Yeah.
to a dance club in Sioux Falls, which is
A real
you
shit
can
kick
imagine
dance
that.
club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Hottest
Bunch
club
of
in America.
assholes. Well, you might have to refresh me. I mean, I remember the ins and outs. Like we go, and I was funny dancing.
What's
On the-
funny dance?
Okay.
What are you doing like
Yeah.
dances I made?
Yeah, you
up?
gotta
Like, it was
define
like
that, dude.
fucking,
I
Like,
thought you
I'm
meant like
just-
stripping.
He
I
didn't-
don't know. That's
No,
what my dad
I
would
could
do,
do the
stripping.
dance for you, but
Yeah.
this is a
You're saying
podcast,
you
so
weren't
they
trying
can't
to
see
dance
it.
cool.
It's there's a lot of clapping under the legs and saluting and like it's a dance that I made up.
Much better.
Saluting. Sold
The
it.
whole thing where you have your hand behind your back like you're on the Family Feud Fast Fingers, and
So a slow dance comes
classic.
out. And he talks to some towny girl and says, "Hey, do you want a slow dance?"
yeah.
And she goes,
She was really mean to me. She was like,
I'd rather kill myself.
yeah,
than
you fucking piece of shit, you fucking
That means
asshole."
she likes you, dude.
Sounds like
Well,
a genuine response.
Well, he didn't take it like that.
You
so-
gotta pretend like you're in a movie.
I had a pint of beer in my hand,
Oh,
and so I just splooshed it in her face.
this is
I know.
Yes.
it's a totally
beat you up?
totally
And,
different movie.
And then it hit other people. And then this guy, this big, like,
Sioux Falls type of fella.
Sioux Falls type of guy gets up in my face and is
Oh, no.
like, he says something like, "You just threw a drink in a girl's face or whatever." And I said, "Yeah."
Mr. Chivalry.
Yeah.
And he like gets up like he wants to
Well,
fight,
he
and I
was
go,
saying it jokingly. Hey, do you want to slow dance? He made a joke that she didn't get, and she
he's
fucking
saluting.
insulted.
it was a bad. Listen, in hindsight, it was. I'm like, well, girls throw drinks in guys' faces in movies all the time. And
If we're
and it
all
was just
equal,
one of those split second.
One of the best quotes ever uttered on a podcast.
if we're all equal in this society, why
I
can't
just,
it go-
listen, it was a split section, like
feminist.
split second, like what's the funniest? I have most of a beer, sploosh. Hits a guy,
Oh, my
and then
God.
he gets up and gets in my face, and I said, "Don't bow up on me, you fucking hayseed." And then I just got grabbed by. I mean, I didn't get
All the
my-
staff like, drags him out. You're gonna get killed. The staff
Oh
that
my
brought him
god!
there.
Were you hammered?
I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, I wouldn't do that as like a sober person.
I heard this story.
So scary to me.
I heard this story the next morning when I came in to play the Sunday, and he was like so reticent and like I shouldn't have done that. I can't fight at all. I could have got killed. I don't know why I did this. It was that morning after shame. He wasn't celebrating the story.
Well, the other kids that were with me were just kind of like, Jesus, thank God we got out of there. Like, I put other people in jeopardy with my antics.
Did you know who's like that? Who was like that when he was younger? Is Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee almost got us killed in a strip club in San Diego in like 1996. We were down there. We're doing La Jolla. We were doing La Jolla Comedy Store, and I met Bobby Lee. And
was he like opening? Like he was young?
No, he was like just starting out. He was like working. He was working there. He was working there. And so we went to the strip club, and there were these real legit gangbangers with long, silky combed hair. I mean, long hair that like went down to their pockets, right? And this dude had tattoos on his face. And he was talking to this girl, and Bobby Lee's like, "Ooh, that girl's really pretty. I'm gonna go fucking hit on her." And he goes over to this girl while she's with all these gangbangers, and apparently one of these gangbangers was the boyfriend of this girl. So he stood up, and I looked at him, and I looked at Bobby, and there's a feeling that you get when you know someone either has killed someone or is ready to kill someone or has thought about killing someone. There's some people that have. There's some people with tattoos in their face in the 90s. Yeah. And those people were scary fucking people. It's not like rappers today and white guys have tattoos all over the place in their face, try to fit in. This is a rare thing. And I jumped up, and I don't forget who was with me, but I go, we're going right now. Yeah. And Bobby Lee's like, where the fuck are you guys going? Just relax, you guys are pussies. I go, fuck you. I go, we're getting out of here right now. And I grabbed everybody and I ran to my car in the parking lot and jumped in. And as we're pulling away, the door opened and these guys stepped out. And Bobby Lee's like, those guys are pussies, and we're gonna do shit. I'm like, oh my god, you crazy fuck.
He doesn't have.
Bobby Lee got. You ever hear? He got straight crazy for a while, like pills.
That's when he was on
drugs.
drugs.
Out of his mind.
I call this Joe Rogan Syndrome, where if you're around Joe Rogan, you have a lot of
suddenly
fucking
feel
balls.
stronger. Yeah.
And you talk shit.
Yeah.
He'll take care of it.
In high school, I had a friend who was like 6'7" and just jacked. And it was just like, I was running.
Wait, he was like 6 to 7 years old? Or?
He likes little kids. They're good.
This guy a paid regular.
They love stories.
We do the opposite in Bisbee with Chad Shank. Like Chad Shank always wants to like snap.
Looks angry.
Like no.
Chad, he's labeling you right now. He's defining you.
I didn't know fight stories were fun. I got like 40 of them if we want to talk them out on the podcast whenever we get home. I thought they were boring to everybody else who wasn't involved.
The rest of us aren't apparently fighting for real, because all of our fight stories, look on your face is like, what are we talking about here? This is like
now, if this was like a really well-produced show, they would splice in the music to "Everybody was kung fu fighting."
If you give this to Chaley, he will overproduce it.
You guys have the best produced podcast because it just starts. And that's really, I should probably start mine just starting. Like, no, Doug's not.
You're like
How
halfway through.
dare you? Yours is okay. But Doug's like, yeah, it's on. And then you guys just roll.
But that's good. That's
perfect.
Organic.
That's how ours usually rolls too, because I don't know how to start it ever. So I just turn it on, and then someone's like, "Are we going?" I'm like, "Yeah, we've been going for 2 minutes."
Rick Ingraham, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
At all your years at the Comedy Store, don't you feel like this is a weird time? Like this place is very...
It's very bizarre, because I spent a decade here basically alone. In terms of like, the crowd was like, would max out at like 70 on like a great weekend night. There's a lot of times I did main room shows where there was like 40 people in there, and now it's basically sold out every weekend. And it's like, we were saying, I was talking to Mark Maron earlier, and it's like, the crowds here are great now, but it's impossible to find somewhere to hang out with just 1,000 people running into you out on the patio.
Well, that's why the comic bar is the best.
Yeah.
It's great.
That little backstage bar is
Kerry Mitchell.
And Kerry Mitchell, praise her name.
When Kerry Mitchell came out here, I go, the only place that you should be working, she's, as a drunk, the only person that you give any credit to. Your bartender is the most important person, and she is the best bartender. And this is the bar, and she actually got a fucking job here, and it's fantastic.
And she got accepted like that immediately because she's so legit. She's so legit. Everybody went, "Oh, okay, come on in."
It's like a comic. You don't give your fucking hey, hire this guy. You're very specific when you give your word on a comic.
100%.
A bartender, I'm the same way. Carrie Mitchell, ask for her by name when you come to the comedy store.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, she got the instant Doug Stanhope pass because she told me she was friends with you. But then she was just so cool. I was like,
she got the
she's so
Dom
nice.
from me. Dom
She's
was
so
the one who
nice.
Told me she was the best.
Oh yeah, he does side splitters.
How did
still.
everyone know her?
well, I'll
Where
tell
did
you
she
what,
work
man.
before?
The staff
They
here
used
has
to
always been awesome. It's
Tampa,
always been awesome.
Peoria,
Yeah, she's been around.
something we can't talk about in South Dakota.
Yeah.
The staff here has always been fucking
She had a
awesome.
beer. She had a beer
Yes.
thrown in her face, from what I understand, in South Dakota.
There's
Like
a
Rick
guy
Ingraham,
silly dancing.
like as far as like the staff here, other than Tommy, the staff here has always been fucking amazing.
Well, because it's always been a bizarre.
Yeah.
We always say it's like the land of misfit toys.
Yeah.
We always don't fit in anywhere but we fit in at the
There
store.
were the dead years, and this is a Bisbee reference, where Bisbee has, where I live in Arizona, they have the ghost tour because they have nothing else to offer.
Yeah.
And that's the dead years of the Comedy Store, is when, it's haunted.
Right.
Well, that's mostly
we got
trying
nothing
to get
else.
laid, too. So.
Yeah.
Oh,
Scare the girl.
sorry.
Well, there was a period like when I got here in '94, from like '94 to '98, it was dark.
Oh.
It was
we were here every
ugly.
night
It was
by ourselves.
ugly.
No one worked. The main room was never open.
It was never open. It was there was a comedy boom in the 80s, and something happened in the 90s where it
Oversaturation.
dropped off so hard at the store. I don't know what it was, and it might have corresponded with Mitzi's health decline. It might have been that.
A little later, her decline, but I think the big thing was it was just like people just
Louis
stopped.
C.K. couldn't get past here, so
It was
This is
magic.
true.
That was-
She did.
It was
Al
magical.
Magical.
Al Magical.
Man.
If anybody's looking to buy a new car, Al Magical is in the house.
How rude.
He's got a guy.
What's up, buddy?
No,
My spot, so let Al sit
not
here.
rude at all. Al will fucking.
I have to go perform.
I've always said this, and I've said this to Al too.
Are you going up right now?
Is this the longest
He's gonna
podcast ever?
Okay.
And I have to piss real
Where
soon.
we at?
That's fun,
Ricky,
dude.
Rick, what time are we at?
Yeah. I have to take a leak.
I don't know.
But that wasn't a slam on Al. It's
No,
Al.
no.
I've said if Al will return your
more
call,
minutes.
if you
8 more
call
minutes.
Al about a show business thing, if you have somebody call him, like you can do a test. Have somebody call Al like, hey, I have this show that I want you to do a part on, and then you call him and say, hey, I need a new deck built in my backyard. He'll call the deck guy back first. Because Al loves to fucking hook people up with a guy to build a deck or help you.
I'm the guy who's got a guy.
That's an important part of camaraderie.
I really enjoy finding
You're the
people.
Ray Donovan of decks.
I fix people's like problems under $10,000.
That's hilarious.
Under 10,000.
That's
That's
hilarious.
your cap. 10,000.
That's so
it.
funny.
Joe Rogan, Chad Shank, Brendon Walsh, Al Madrigal, and Nancy Kerrigan.
Eleanor Kerrigan, little shit.
Was that signing off? You were just saying.
No. We don't have to
We
sign
have
off.
7 minutes left. We'll make it a.
We can do whatever the
perfect
fuck we
hour.
want. We don't have to do 7 minutes. We can keep this thing going.
Yeah, we could.
But why not? Why does everybody want to make these things an hour?
Yeah.
Well, because I have people upstairs.
Oh, okay.
and
We'll make it
Jesse
now.
We're gonna- yeah, we
Peluso
got-
just texted me. I
Okay.
wanna
Attention
read it.
span.
We'll make it an
wanna
hour.
read it?
The greatest thing about them is they can be anytime you
Yeah.
want.
Anytime. Like we just wandered down here. I've never even been in this basement before.
No.
Have you seen some of the shit that's down here?
Scared. Where you going? Oh.
I'm taking a mic.
I feel
Walsh,
weird.
Now we have
Now we
less
have a real
people
podcast.
talking
I like
over
you when
each
you-
other.
I like when you're close to me.
Now I can look. Now I can
I'll
look
hold
at your
you later.
face. Your head is bloated from human growth hormones. Mine is bloated
Testosterone, I think mostly.
From, either way,
Yeah.
mine's
And a lot of
alcohol.
deadlifting.
Yours is.
It's also like lifting heavy shit.
Have you been freezing
There's something about
yourself a lot lately?
I do it a lot.
Very
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
It's not that bad. What it does is it you get used to it. So if you do it like 3 or 4 days in a row,
I don't like
after a
being
while your
cold.
body gets accustomed to it.
What does it do for you? I don't understand.
Produce norepinephrine, which is a neurochemical that makes you happy. It also reduces inflammation, like inflammatory bodies in the blood. Reduces all that shit.
Isn't that redundant since you already smoke weed?
No. It's on this molecular level. Apparently, what happens is your body freaks the fuck out because it thinks it's gonna die because you're in this 250 degree below zero tank. You walk into this room and you shut the door, and it's like a freezer, and you're standing there. It's 250 degrees below zero, and you do it for 3 minutes. And when you do it, your body produces what's called cold shock proteins, and cold shock proteins attack inflammation. It's literally like your body starts shutting down. It freaks out, and so it mass produces this like panic hormone and these growth shock proteins, and all this stuff accelerates like tissue healing in the body, and it makes you feel better. Like you literally like your mind feels better when you get out of there.
Okay.
I feel.
I think it's
Comedy Store Podcast.
Yeah, right.
This is the Comedy Store Podcast.
Someone asked me a question, Douglas. What am I gonna do?
Joe told me what changed. He told me to take vitamin D, and I did that because I was tired in the afternoon.
Change your life.
I feel better.
More than 75% of Americans are deficient in vitamin D because we're not outside, and it's one of the ways your body produces it. But another way your body produces animal proteins, but you can get it in a supplement form, and it's very important.
Or you could move to Bisbee, Arizona,
that works too,
where you're out in the sun all the time.
Unless you're a fucking mole and you like to go deep underground.
Fucking New York City. I was there. Like, you don't see the sun at all.
Right.
New York City, they're the grayest fucking what you would imagine as a writer. They're gray, hunched people. How could you live in that fucking awful place?
You know what it is? It has an attachment of romanticism to it. So when you move to a place like that, or if you move to Paris, it is, but it isn't. See, if you believe in it, then it is, but you're too smart for it, so it isn't. It's like placebos and like faith healers, like they can work, but you got to believe in them. But the fucking catch-22 is you're too fucking smart to believe in them, so they'll never work. So
Like,
it's like
AA or religion. Yeah.
Close. Yeah, it's in the ballpark.
Yeah, if you believe in it, it works. But fucking no sun and
yeah, it's bullshit.
So
it's a good place to hang out if you have like billions of dollars. You fly in, you stay in your penthouse apartment, then you jet. Or
how do we get Chad Shank into comedy? That's what I want to talk about.
Chad Shank's already in comedy. He's here right now.
I know.
There's baby steps. Baby steps on the road to sobriety.
But we can get you a showcase here. Have Doug
you got a phone call coming in.
Are you Doug's handler? Who's calling? Is it Johnny Depp?
I'm the co-host of the
Shawcroft. You're on the.
Sorry.
Hang on, Lynn Shawcroft is on the Comedy Store Podcast live on speakerphone. We're in the basement.
How'd you know?
I never knew there was a basement.
You called me.
I didn't even know about a basement.
All right, Brian Hennigan is coming to get you. Just be by the back toilets by the OR.
That sounds terrible.
Tell her the established rule is no gay shit.
We're smoking in the basement. Just look for Hennigan. Bye. Fucking Shawcroft is so fucking funny as a person. She's a fucking a nightmare.
She's very bright.
I was on the road with Shaylee and Mitch and Lynn, and they would lose everything constantly. So they would. She came to me one night, and this is one morning we woke up in Seattle, and I was just standing there. And she walks up, and I was explaining to other people how they kept losing stuff. And she walked up, and she goes, "We can't find the camera." And so just on cue, like if somebody cued her, and then she walked away, and then came back, and she goes, "And we also lost the RV."
That was Chaley driving the RV.
Yeah, I was in that. I strapped myself in.
I heard about that. This is such a good story.
Lost the RV. Oh my
secondary.
Wait, that's exactly. This
secondary thing. Oh shit! So
Yeah,
funny.
but you're right. She has had a look and she
The
goes,
fucking camera. They're worried about the camera before the RV.
By the way, our way out of here is gone.
We don't have a place to sleep anymore. Fuck.
So yeah, I guess this podcast will go on.
Holy shit.
No, we can end it. We're at 59.
No, fuck it. Shawcroft's coming
let's
down.
bring her
Yeah,
down.
she's
Let's
coming
bring her
down.
on.
We will soldier on.
Shawcroft, for the listener, Mitch Hedberg. If you don't know Mitch Hedberg,
You're an
first of all, you're an asshole.
Oh, don't say
And
that.
second of all, it's because
Some shit you don't know about.
Shawcroft is lackadaisical about putting out his life work. Let's not give her shit about that.
No,
I
it's
will.
just you can do that privately.
I do it all the time.
Yeah, but that's
It's a little
that's the way to
public
do
now,
it.
but that's
and
Well, it's not. She's not here, so we're just talking shit about her behind her back. That's
she currently dates a very funny John Doerr, who's one of the funniest.
yo. Don't be putting up who she's fucking after Mitch's rest his peace.
Last
Same
week,
for-
Rest his soul,
were-
bless his soul.
you were here.
Bless his heart.
I was talking to you.
You're gonna burst into flames if you ever try to cross yourself.
I
Last
didn't even
week,
know how to do it. I don't know that. I don't know how to do it either, but I don't know if that's right.
Brendon Walsh, who doesn't get sets here for some reason, even though he's
I
the
don't know
most
either.
brilliant fucking comic
Yeah.
I know, he went up that night. We were talking in the parking lot. You gotta move here. There's a new scene. You were fucking all over me. What I didn't know at that time, he went up while we're talking in the parking lot, me and Joe Rogan, he went up as John Doerr.
Yeah.
And did a set doing John Doerr's material. And they let him up. Yeah, he did it last week.
Fucking Brendon.
He's so silly.
He's fucking
That's
great.
good.
He's so silly.
I
You
start
were
taking.
complaining about that.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? I swear to God, I'm like, wait, Brendon Walsh, he's terrific. He's a great comic, but I didn't know all that.
He's just crazy. Brendan's crazy.
He's fucking great.
Well, he's really funny. He's really funny. He's really funny. He's really smart. But like when he's talking about the thing about throwing the beer in the girl's face, like he has this impulsiveness to him that he almost doesn't know how to
No,
wrap up all the time.
He really, I mean, he's done some of the best pranks. Like in the Silver Lake gun store, there was a bar BJ's, and he went and bought a
Silver Lake
huge.
gun
He
store.
bought a huge banner and
They
says,
always sell muskets.
"Coming soon." It's going to be Silver Lake. Silver Lake, if you don't know, is this community in Los Angeles, very like liberal, pretentious, like just Whole Foods. They're protesting because it's a Whole Foods 365, which is a discounted Whole Foods, and the people in that neighborhood are protesting it, saying that we can afford the real one. And yeah,
We don't want your Whole Foods cast off.
Exactly.
All right, hang on. There was a cell phone billboard on I-10 for whatever cell company, and there's a picture of a cell phone on the thing. Brendon Walsh figures out the measurements, goes up in the middle of the night, has basically a fathead of because it's a
text,
cell
yeah.
phone, but it's blank in the. So he puts the text message in the cell phone on the billboard saying, "Your father passed away," and the reply, "OMG." He crawled up. He made this shit.
My favorite one was an early one. It was Top Chef DC, and it was everybody standing in the arcade, and he took a picture and got like a fathead made at Kinko's
Of himself.
with a little chef outfit with a pot and a spoon, just stirring it up. But he didn't get the measurements just right, so the guy was really miniature.
He's like
compared to
1/8 the size. They have the America's Top Chef and all the contestants, 10 contestants. So he gets a fathead made of himself, like 1/8 of the size, and goes up with Lynn Shawcroft, who's coming
risking
on the podcast.
his life, like risking his life above this fucking 7-Eleven, because
Yeah.
it's not easy to climb up on those things.
Here's a really okay. Go ahead.
climbs barbed wire to put himself aside the other 10 contestants.
He's so
a
crazy.
fucking
He's a
brilliant
legit
man.
maniac.
Yeah.
Here's another one that he did his one that he did that's super subtle. He put up a sign for Whole Foods coming soon in Los Feliz.
Yeah.
And everybody went crazy.
People
They all
were
went
honking.
crazy.
They were honking when he was putting it up, like, yeah. yeah, giving them.
They were so excited.
Yeah.
They were so excited, and it wasn't real. He just thought it'd be funny to fuck with these people because they wanted a Whole Foods.
They're so crazy over there. It's so dumb.
He came to
He's an
Bisbee.
internet troll in real life.
In real life, he's a really good troll. It's a really good move.
He comes out.
Yeah.
He came to Bisbee, unlike Joe Rogan.
Oh, I keep
Lynn
saying it.
Shawcroft.
Lynn.
Come on in, Lynn.
You know what? I'm probably going up any second now. So
Shit.
take my spot.
Hi. Yeah, Joe, it's 20 after.
Brendon Walsh came to Bisbee and he put up signs all over my neighborhood in a residential area, and it was a hand-drawn sign that said "Lost Comb Lost," and it was a hand-drawn comb with teeth missing.
You're good.
This is my comb. I lost it. I need it. I use it to comb my hair. If you've seen this comb.
There was people in Bisbee looking for that comb.
He just walked around stapling it to telephone poles around my house.
Posters or images of the comb?
We were just talking about when you helped him put up the America's Top Chef, Brendon Walsh. You were part of that.
Yes.
You helped him
John
with this?
Doerr went up like on levels of buildings, and I saw them walking across. Hey, listen, are you gonna do good up there? I'm gonna try. You fucking do it.
Do it, Joey.
Do it.
Lynn Shawcroft.
Thank you for
Bonjour.
introducing. Hi, I don't know you. I'm Eleanor. Kerrigan.
Hey, Eleanor,
Not
my
Nancy,
name is
Eleanor.
Lynn, no middle name, Shawcroft,
Oh, nice.
from Canada.
Do you know Chad Shank?
No, I'm Chad Shank.
I know
This is great.
Shad
It's like a
Chang.
getting
you know
to
what I
know you
mean?
podcast.
Since we're
It's
sharing
my
a mic,
co-host
I'm going
on
to take
my
off you guys.
podcast.
I have
He's a Bisbee
babysitter.
guy.
I'll see you later.
Whoa,
Al, we
wait a
love you. Al
second.
Madrigal, ladies and gentlemen,
Al
making
Madrigal.
an exit.
Al, why are you leaving?
Yeah, Al.
Oh, you sure you don't want to talk about that
you
Vice interview we
stink.
both did?
Uh-oh. A Vice?
All right, then.
How was it for you?
It was good. They were in my home as usual. I have no one to protect me. I gave him fucking a pair of Mitch's underwear. Fucking chip chop. Interview over.
Yeah.
I like your jacket.
Wait, can I ask more about that? Bye, Al.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before Al leaves,
Oh, hey, now-
please know this.
hey, look.
Al's got some coin.
He's got
Now
some
we're not
coin.
all talking over each other.
Okay.
You should put.
All right.
There you go.
Hey, come on in. Come on.
Bingo.
Come on. Here.
Are you good?
If you're delivering, I'll take another.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, give
Hey.
it up for her.
Should
Carrie
you
in
move?
the house.
Let me buy a
Joe.
round. Joe, I know you're.
You're on the podcast.
You've got the pressure.
Everyone's
Can
yahooing
you
about Carrie Mitchell.
introduce
Yeah, but
her
you've got the
again?
pre-
Like,
Carrie
he was
Mitchell.
So excited to introduce you. We were just talking
When you
about
move to
around the
town, I
whole-
go, there's only one place for
There's
you.
only one
because
messy
your
place.
bartender is your best friend, and you are the best bartender I've ever known.
I love it.
Oh my God.
Where can you
alliteration.
work as a hot mess?
Um,
right here at the
I know you
world-famous
as a
Comedy.
But
friend.
if you
but I
bring
know-
a round of delight sauce, I'll give you my new credit card that I just got 2 days ago in the mail.
Proud
And I
of
just
you.
Because you lost your last one.
it's
Did
not
you
like
really
that.
lose it?
It's not like that.
Hang on. Let's. Yeah, Jack Coke is fine. We were just talking about you saying, "Oh, we lost our camera. Oh, and we also lost our RV."
Oh yeah.
Did you?
It's not quite like losing the RV. It's like, whoa, where do we put it? And it seems like on
But
paper,
the camera
But
was
it's
the
not-
precedent.
Yeah. It's
on paper, it doesn't seem like you wouldn't know where your RV is. But put that paper on like a Tuesday, flip back to a Thursday. You can lose a fucking motorhome. Anyone
Drop
can.
a bunch of blotter acid on that paper.
Yes.
I've lost some things. Never a motor home, but
They had a van they left at Phoenix Airport.
Oh. We left a van because we lived in the mountains. We had to fly out of Ontario, California, rather than the LAX. And we fly out of Ontario. There's not a lot of nonstops. There's layovers, and the layovers were always Phoenix. So we had our van there going on 5 months.
No way.
Yeah, because we drove to a gig there, and then we didn't have time to like drive it back, so it was there, and we'd like go in and tuck in there and be like, "Is there any drugs in here? Oh, remember this? Let's have a nap." Then we had to take the van out, and I was like, "Mitch, just tell them we were there for 2 weeks." And Mitch was like, "Since when did we have to lie about?" So we told them 4 months, which was a lie. And the lady goes, "God damn, thank you for being honest. We didn't have your chit." And so, like, I don't know if you've ever seen a face melt down in complete depression. It was me. And like Mitch just paid, it was like over $3,000, which he only paid $2,000. But those are the things that get me.
Wait,
you know what I mean?
I thought that van was still there after Mitch died.
Well, we got back in the same place. You know, we bought it out.
Same van, different
same
time.
van, same airport, different circumstance. But when Mitch died, it was still there, and they called Mitch's parents, and they're like, "He's dead," and they got rid of it. Meanwhile, there was like so many pictures and videos, and we made Christmas cards with a black baby. What?
They didn't clean it out for you?
I don't know, because the number attached to it went to Mitch's parents. I think they were so grief struck. And
I just told this story,
yeah. Sorry.
and I didn't remember it, but Lynn Shawcroft, Justine Bateman, emailed me. And she goes, "Hey, I'm a huge fan." And I go,
This
"Are
is
you
several
the
years
same
ago.
Justine Bateman." I just had to tell this story because someone brought it up.
We
this
put it
book
on your
tour.
next CD.
On my book tour, Digging Up Mother. Buy it on Amazon.
Yes.
Oh,
I hear
there you
it's
go.
phenomenal.
By the by.
I bought it. I didn't read it yet, but I have it. And I'm going to have you sign it.
It's an actual book.
You might hear that more than once along
No,
the
I
way.
just bought it yesterday.
It's so
I've been working
good.
a lot.
So Shawcroft is on a no carb diet. So
I was
she's
chubby.
drinking
I was trying to get
vodka
back in the
instead
game.
Of beer.
Okay.
And
Choices.
Justine Bateman comes to this show. Garrett Morris had a club downtown
Oh, yeah.
LA.
I used to perform. Yeah, I know that.
So yeah,
Yeah.
we're doing it. And Garrett Morris, fuck yeah.
He's
and
always there. He's great.
Do you know who
He's
came to
fucking
that
wicked
show, who loved you at that point, is the guy who came up with Humble Brag.
I
Humble
don't know.
Brag.
Why is that humble brag?
The guy who wrote it died.
Yes,
yeah.
he passed away. Yeah.
Yes. You would know. Anyway, continue on.
I'll do it. I'll Google it.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
So she's drinking, Shawcroft is drinking vodka at the same rate she would drink beer. So she's hammered. We do a show. It's like 10:30 at night. And Bingo is drinking. Bingo's here too.
Bingo, say hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
She's
She
back.
doesn't like the microphone. They show up. I have to meet Justine Bateman, and I'm starstruck by.
Yeah, this was just for the beginning when
I'm
like people were
starstruck
coming.
by Chad Shank being here in LA.
But you're like, Mallory's
That
coming.
makes zero sense. But let's go back to the
The
story.
point being, I'm trying to be like a guy, and the two of these fucking drunken cunts come down. They're just. they're-
But I didn't know. I thought I was spreading the word.
We're like on each other's
And it's
laps
10:30,
making
and
out.
it's Justine Bateman and some producer who produced Last Comic Standing that I did the fucking the presentation pilot for. Do you remember me? No, you're a suit. I don't. But I'm trying to be polite, and they come down just recklessly fucked up at 10:30 at night.
No, we came to both shows, but because it wasn't beer, I was getting vodka, and because I was
Because-
hanging out with you, like Diet Coke.
Because
Yeah, I
you
was
were
trying to
on
lose
the
a few.
fucking no
Yeah.
carb diet.
Yeah.
She's just drinking vodka and she's spillingly drunk. At some point, they have the pizza. You know how the
I can tell you were
posh
annoyed.
places put the pizza on a like with the fire underneath, the little sterno.
Yeah.
Brimstone.
She knocks it over. Their leftover pizza, and then she's crawling on the floor
Underneath
on
the
all
table.
This is
fours,
after the
eating
shows.
pizza. And Justine Bateman was great. She's like taking it and just flicking her shit because she knows they're too drunk to
Right.
understand.
By the way,
And I'm
Justine, that's
sitting-
not very nice.
I'm just
But of
being
course, well
polite.
played.
At some point, I go, it's best if we just go to the room and try to find blow.
It's
Anyway,
always best.
Now you're thinking.
The next
But you got rid of me. I went to my room.
the next morning, I think I fucked you that night with bingo.
No.
Cut that out.
No, I'm not real good at editing, so keep
To
going.
be continued.
Rewind.
The next morning,
I'm not trying to say
The
anything, but
next
like when a
morning-
girl's black out on vodka, that's when I really fucking make it happen.
Rape.
Yeah.
Rape.
Yes. Do you think I wasn't blacked out? Point being, the next morning, Shawcroft calls. Did I make an asshole out of myself with that Mallory girl from Family Ties? I go, you were fucking yelling. You don't know what love really means. And then you were crawling on all fours, eating their leftover pizza off the floor. And without any kind of irony, she goes, I ate pizza? I'm not supposed to have carbs.
I was like, oh my God, I ate carbs? Like,
Oh, that's
meeting someone
my
famous
favorite
is
stories
Trump.
ever.
Like,
Did you enjoy Justine Bateman? Was she was cool.
She was
I mean,
great.
She was going
She-
along
But
with
she's
it.
like
was
been a
very
beautiful
funny.
icon
Yeah.
for years, right? Yeah. That's when you were just in your first early stages
And
of
she was
People
had
loving
a
it.
huge eating disorder.
Oh shit. So
Yeah,
she-
no, she was like
she was-
anorexic. So
shouldn't have been
double
eating that
whammy.
she would
either.
she would understand the
yeah.
joke where, oh fuck, I ate carbs.
Oh my God, 52 ounces of vodka. Oh my God, I ate crust. Like I like before the beat before I even said that was like, please tell me I just ate the pepperoni. Please. No crust.
Really have your
Yeah,
priorities
like, meanwhile,
straight. I
I-
like that about
I made a bit of mess
Before
at
we
that point.
close, plug the Hedberg thing. You have a box set of Hedberg.
I have a vinyl box set of Mitch Hedberg's albums, and then I wrote a book, and there's a USB, and then other stuff. But thank you.
Where do they find
Yeah,
that,
where do we
Lynn
find that?
Shawcroft?
That would be amazing.
What?
In the RV? Did you
Well,
find the
Phoenix
lost
Airport.
RV?
We went up to
Phoenix
crash them,
Airport.
trash them. Like I can't even think about what was in that van as it went into the clump. Like it could have been Mitch's uterus in there or something. I don't know.
Good
DNA.
plug.
Anyway,
Where do you find?
there's mega Hedberg to come.
Is there a website that people can find Mitch Hedberg at?
Well, there's MitchHedberg.net, but like it'll be on the scene. You'll just know. It's like lots
You'll
of it's
plug
coming. Yes,
Yeah.
hugely. And I've been Vice magazine came up to do an interview because they are picking comedy and doing a series rather than Mitch Hedberg, Doug Stanhope, Amy Schumer. Mitch Hedberg's is called, I don't know, they're picking something.
All right, follow
Anyway,
us
it'll be
all at your Twitter
Eleanor J. Kerrigan. That's my name.
God damn Eleanor.
at
EJ
Bingo
Kerrigan.
Bingaman
Bingo
at
Bingaman.
Litchell.
No, that's my,
what's your
that's
Twitter?
my email.
Oh.
At Shawcroft.
At Shawcroft.
At Shawcroft. How
At
do you spell that?
HD Fatty. Chad Shank, first time in LA.
HD
Aww.
Fatty. Congratulations. You
HD
broke
like
your
Harley
cherry.
Davidson Fatty.
Is Chad Shank
Hyman
your real name?
Doberman. The Chad Shank is my real name.
Is there a middle name?
Jason?
Chad Jason Shank.
That's,
Yeah. Seems
runs
like the
our-
time, the era. I just want to ask one question. We'll close it out.
I love that.
What do you feel about squatters? When you were 20, what did you think about squatters? Like, I'm squatting on your property. And what do you think of them
Well,
now?
am I the squatter or do I own the
No,
property?
you're the
Yeah, which
owner.
one
Like,
are we?
or you're reading an article about it.
Squatters usually don't have a lot of family.
Go fuck them.
So it's easy to throw them in, chuck them in a well or
Exact-
mines or
when
cut their throat, really.
when Renee and I lived in Venice.
Past Ash, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We I rented the place next door. It was an office, and I stopped in once I rented it. I stopped in on Christmas, and there were two homeless people. This is a known story if you know me, but if
And
you
it's
don't,
in the book.
It is in the book. Yeah. Good.
Fair enough.
And they go, oh, sorry, this
Spoiler
place
alert.
has been empty forever. I go, well, you're grandfathered in. Just don't shit on the doorstep.
But that's
And
who
they
you
became
are.
Friends.
You would
Fucking
befriend.
Rogan. I wish Rogan was here. He had to go.
pissed.
No, he came and
He witnessed.
they used to come over for cocktails. At
But
happy
you're the
hour,
type that would
and-
befriend
and
your
Rogan
squatter
was
and make it a good situation.
kind of fucking a juggie from the Man Show, and he brought her over for dinner. So it was me and
live
Renee and the two homeless people. And them, and he's like, really? Yeah, no, these are homeless people. They live on my stoop next door.
But I think, see, that's who you are. You would incorporate it into a different situation.
I had
If
to
I
testify
owned
in
the place,
court.
I would fucking kill a squatter.
Well,
Although if I was a squatter, I'd kill an owner. So it's one of those things.
It just seems like
I'm
you're.
with you on that.
It just seems like you're a killer, and I like that. But let me say that I'm from South Philly, right? And we had, I don't know if you remember this, in the 80s, Frank Rizzo was our mayor. And they had these people, they called them the move people, but they were basically squatters. I don't know if you remember. They go on top of people's,
The move?
Yeah, they would go on the top of their row homes
Yeah.
and just live there. Like just camp out. And people
Were they
getting pissed.
squatted? Were they on top of
Yes.
people who were struggling, or
Oh,
just
yeah, they were
empty
right.
fucking bullshit
It was
places?
right in North Philly, so it's like
Oh, my
it was
God.
kind of a
Yeah.
shitty area. And but the mayor got pissed because they couldn't get him out.
Hmm.
And I remember the lady's name. Her name was Ramona Africa because I was a kid when it happened.
Yeah.
But
You'd remember
Rizzo-
that name
Rizzo,
for sure.
You saw
he
this
set the
documentary.
whole
On Netflix,
he set
yeah.
the whole block on fire, right? And when I was little, my brother Billy used to put not inhale his cigarette, and he would blow the smoke in my hair so it would kind of linger.
Yeah.
And I would do her as a character in front of my mom.
God.
And I'd be like,
One woman show revival. Who gonna kick me out?
and my mother would be like, what the hell are you kids doing? She
That was
hated
great.
us. But yeah, so that's the only ever squatter I saw. But
I don't know. I'm so conflicted. Like, if you're like Spider-Man-ish and you can go up into a
mean
like
you
top
climb
glass
walls?
place in Dubai or fucking London, go for it. You know what?
I'm assuming-
I need to be schooled.
I'm assuming you
upset.
have a squatter.
Yeah,
is why you're asking this
no.
question, because like Stanhope has some homeless people
I don't
in
mean
Bisbee,
to
but they
face
can
that.
sing songs.
We're all
and
kind of
stuff.
squatters.
So I mean, it depends on what your squatters can do.
yeah, if they have some talent. I mean, Ramona Africa had
Yeah.
no talent, so they set her on fire.
But here's the second.
Fuck her.
We're all living in cities that other human beings created. It's a little bit embarrassing to be like, hey, I'm from LA. Like, you're living in someone else's fucking, like, how dare we say that this is our place when, like, people created and fantasized these cities way before we came along. Mm-hmm.
You're not
Rama.
driving, are you?
I hope so. I think she's Ubering tonight. You're helping everybody.
Oh,
Are you driving? I mean,
goddamn
at
Uber. I'll squat and fucking Uber.
You can sleep with me and Bingo
Aw.
as long as you're
As long
out
as you
of a
guys
hot
videotape it, please.
tub. Sorry.
Do you
So
record
bingo.
any of this?
Just back to like about 4 months ago, Doug called me. It's very rare these days, and I'm like, "Hey, how are you?" And he goes, "Just listen to my podcast." Like as though I called you.
Oh, Stanhope, you said
Why was that to me? Like
Aw.
so. She did.
you were like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I go, "How are you?" And you go, "Oh, just
When Mitch
listen."
died, you don't want to fucking talk about it over and over again. Just all right.
Fair
I
enough.
said it on a
Fair
podcast.
enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Just
fair
go to
enough.
that.
Aw, sweetie, fair enough.
So did you listen to the podcast, or did you just fucking not
Willie
care?
goes at minute 17. No,
Is it
I
because
did
you
listen
don't
to
like
some.
talking about it all the time? Or
I think
we
he was
talked
probably
about-
caught up in talking about it too much.
You
I
br-
lost my best friend too, so I understand. I
You
get
break your arm and you have a cast, and the first person that asks, you go, "Oh, I got into a fight." And then the 85th person, like, I'm tired of talking about the fucking cast. Can I hide it?
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Check it out. But what if I didn't know about the cast or the fight or the lost friend? I'm just sitting in my house avoiding phone calls, and I'm like, Doug, finally answer. And I go, how are you? Listen to this.
I feel guilty because I
kinda
do that
love
to, my friend that passed was Freddie Soto, a very funny comic.
yeah.
So I kind of do that to Corey Soto too, because she just stays on it. So I had to distance myself a little bit.
Of course.
Because it's too much to talk about.
Yes.
And so it's like a weird, and I was friends with them.
And every time you talk about it,
they got married, but
smooth that gem.
we know each other
differently.
from the beginning. So it's like weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that. I understand that you don't want to talk about your
Eleanor
broken cast.
is a legend here at the Comedy Store.
Not because
Telling
I
Chad
sleep with
Shank because
everybody.
Chad Shank, he doesn't know the lay of the land.
It ain't
She was
because
a
I'm blowing
waitress,
you.
then she was a wrestler, then she was a comic, then she toured with Dice Clay.
Still tour with Dice once in a while. Yeah, we're doing Vegas next weekend. So
He's
but-
fucking
he's crazy right
brutal.
now. Yeah.
Is he being really funny now?
Dice is always funny, but he's
No,
brutal.
I know that.
His
No,
crowds
that's
are the worst.
without a doubt.
The worst
But is he
best, I
being
should
ridiculously funny?
We did Opie and Anthony at the same time, and there's
Oh, yeah,
no
that's right.
personality in comedy today or since Dice that
I agree.
he just
Yeah.
walked in and owned the room.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
He was nice to me. I saw your special. You're fucking funny. Anyway, and he lights
amazing,
up a
like,
cigarette,
Dice,
and
do you know-
Opie's going,
Yes.
"Oh shit!
Oh, yeah, the
he's
fire
gonna
alarm was
smoke.
going off.
He's gonna
Don't
smoke
you
in the
want
studio."
someone like that who is fucking?
But I wish I could be that guy.
Yes.
I'm so polite generally. Like on stage,
You're
I'm a
extremely
dick.
polite.
But in real life, I'm so polite. I can't do. I should
But
just.
I think every one of your fans kind of know that, which is this like double layer of
Love.
something about you.
Yeah, they like that about you.
But it makes
you're
me
adored.
want to
But
be
imagine
that dick.
being that.
Are your fans wild like his? Like I love Dice fans. They're the worst and best because as soon as you come out, especially as a woman, come out on stage, they're like, "Bitch, show us your tits." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They try to rape you immediately, but you got to just punch them in the throat.
No, they're not that bad,
Okay.
but they are kind of
Anxious.
We
Well,
call them the killer termites.
This is a Comedy Store podcast.
Paul Provenza. is
Paul
in the room.
Provenza. Rick Ingram, who,
Eleanor.
is on. You're welcome to come in. Rick Ingram, who is my co-host.
Oh
is
my
on
God, I
stage
think
in the main room.
Provenza has a bit of that thing.
But Provenza, you
It's
used to
kooky.
work here. I mean, you used to perform here all the time because I started here in '93. You were always here.
I wasn't always here.
I remember
you
you.
on the
I used to get
fucking I
creeped out
Look
here.
19
Why?
and
When did you
93.
leave?
It was very creepy here for a long time.
When did you
Right?
leave? Because
We
I
talked about
remember
this.
you working
the
here.
dead years.
I had
where
a
they
crush.
go, "Oh,
Sorry,
it's
I did have a
haunted."
crush on him.
That's
Yeah.
Hi,
That's what I
I'm
said when I
sorry.
came down here. Never been down here before, and I went, "Oh, it's haunted down here. This should be fun."
So when was the last time you performed here? Then
Wait a minute.
Quite a
Who
while,
thinks
yeah.
it's
But
haunted?
let me
When
just-
someone
let me
tells
say
you
it's
something's
totally
haunted,
different. Like,
Yeah.
don't
like
you shut them down?
the vibe here is fantastic now.
it's unbelievable, and I think most of it is because we got rid of Tommy, unfortunately, because I kind of hired Tommy.
and
Not on
I don't-
purpose. We just
I don't
needed a
know.
pulse.
and
Okay,
sponsored by the Top Shop. It always
Yeah.
makes things great.
okay. Top Shop. What's a Top
It's
Shop?
a joke.
Oh, I like it.
we used to play rock and roll places in LA. And then the main room. No one ever uses the main room. It's dead.
yeah.
And
Well,
so he's
Which
They would
one's
sometimes book it
considered the
for
main
the
room?
main room, and now the main room is sold out. Fucking
and
every
and
single
great,
night.
but more so than the shows, just the vibe is great.
the
The
whole-
vibe
Yes,
is really like it's
yes.
become like a great place to hang.
Absolutely.
And it used to feel like get the fuck out if you weren't like one of 8 people.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's a
it was
horrible
weird.
attitude, right?
I think
It's so
there was
great now.
a group of comics that were doing that, somewhat bullying people out.
Or like if
And
the
that
bus boy didn't like you
Rogan,
could die.
who was on an earlier version, because we're gonna have to. We've been doing this for like 2 hours, so we're,
Yeah.
this will be a
Almost, yeah. It's like an hour and a half,
3-part
yeah.
3-part Comedy Store podcast.
That's all right. I don't care. I love it.
But
This
yeah,
is like
Rogan,
our first.
Rogan
Yeah.
got banned.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. That was misunderstood because Rogan did the right thing. He called Mitzi immediately. What he did, he called her. She was fine with it. But then Tommy took it in his own hands and changed up the subject. Do you know
I
what
don't
I'm
know the
saying?
details.
Is Tommy in prison or something? Because you're talking about him like he's not going to like get angry at
Tommy?
you.
Oh no, he could get angry at me. He knows.
Why don't you do the green room? Because every comic loves the
It's the
green
best
room.
show
To this
ever.
day,
Prevent
people
that.
tweet
It is. It is.
clips of the fucking green room. Why don't you do that?
Why don't you buy a fucking network?
What do you need a network? It's 2016, honey. There's everything.
It's the best show.
Somebody YouTube thing.
It's what every fan wants to do.
Because it costs some money, and we don't have it, and we need somebody to get behind it, and we just haven't
I'm
found
just
that entity
anyone
yet.
who knows my name or
How much
anyone here,
money does this
$9.99.
cost?
It's what every
Hang
fan
on, please
loves.
hold. How much money does this podcast cost with a GoPro? Nothing.
Right. Well, the GoPro
Yeah.
GoPro costs a little bit of money, but not a lot. I mean, I could rob that for you.
I-
How many
I'll buy a
episodes did you
GoPro.
do of that?
Well, 14.
People loved it. Comedians loved
You
it.
don't need
Fans
Ron
loved it.
Jeremy in the background. You just need the fucking comics.
Yeah, let me tell you
Yeah.
something.
Shit.
Ron Jeremy's not where the money goes.
My point
I don't know
being,
what that means.
it doesn't need to be overproduced.
No.
Actually,
it just needs-
actually,
No, I- you know.
if I think about it for 1 second in a drunk, addled brain, that's a podcast with a camera.
That's true.
That's what I was just about to say.
You don't need
Lord.
to GoFundMe.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. But the reason that we could get so many really interesting people, how we could get a Gary Shandling, and how we can get the group that was on. With
I'll
you
get
and,
Gary Shandling if you need him.
It has to be it has to be something more than just a podcast with cameras in order to book it in the way that is the most interesting.
You showed
You're
up
right.
late, but we just had in this fucking basement. We just had A-list talent.
That's true.
Just
we are
circling
going
through.
down now.
Yeah.
Just because there's
B-listers.
money
Kidding, Paul.
B.
Kidding.
I'm
Love you.
flattered to be B.
Yeah, it was
You kidding?
fucking Brendon Walsh and Joe Rogan, and I got to do a
And
set.
now Rick Ingram's
Now
back.
Rick Ingram's
Yes.
back.
Co-host.
All right, well,
Oh
let's
my
do this.
God.
Hey, I saw you last night for the first time. You were really funny, man.
That's what I've heard.
Fucking Kunta Kinte was here at one point.
Kunta Kinte was
Kunta
not
Kinte
here.
was
This
here.
is a lie.
Well, but why can't you just take it?
Well, he
back?
goes by Toby.
Kunta Kinte was where?
He learned his lesson.
What network was the Green Room on?
Showtime.
Oh, right. Okay.
You know what I see it on? Provenza Time.
The Provenza Network.
On
Yeah,
YouTube. So you can
but
say
you know
whatever
what?
you want.
It really was probably good produced
fucking
and everything,
fantastic.
but it was a bunch of people that you have the ability
It
to
was a
talk to
podcast.
anytime, any day, in the best way. It was great.
A lady just stood up in the main room during Anthony Jeselnik's set, furious, and started screaming
About
that
the
you're
abortion?
offensive. He didn't even get to that
What?
part yet. So he stood up and started screaming, "You're offensive! You are offensive!" And he was like, "Ma'am, if you will sit back down, you will see how offensive this is going to get."
Plus, also,
Man.
Podcast.
I know.
That taking his friend for an abortion piece
that's my favorite.
is
But
phenomenal.
real question: is Anthony come out as a gazo?
Hang on.
Because I have.
Provenza
First I
knows
gotta
the
get my-
piece. Tell the Jeselnik piece.
Oh, I wouldn't deign
Jeselnik?
to, but it's the story. It's the story of him taking a friend of his
think it's a brand new
to
bit. We
get
might
an
not wanna
abortion.
see.
Yeah, it's
No.
All right,
What do you
if it's a
think?
brand new
Unbelievable.
bit, then
Yeah, I
we
think
don't
he's
want
working
talking
it
about?
out. It's really funny though.
Good
Yeah.
catch.
He's just working it out. So I
but it's more. It's
He didn't
it's.
get there yet.
Who
There's
Jeselnik?
so much going on in that. It's more than just funny lines.
I like to act like
stories.
Jeselnik's the fucking waiter. I'm like, can you get me a beer? Oh, I love it. It's one of my faves.
Yeah, his last line as she was walking out, she just kept screaming over and over how offensive he is. And she was like, "I didn't come here to be offended. You know how offensive you are." And he
Where do you usually go?
To be offended.
He goes,
Yeah.
family dinner.
He said, "Yeah, I know I'm offensive. That's how I got rich." And then she goes, "Fuck you!" And just stormed.
See, yeah.
What ticked
Cut
her
to
off?
the chase. Cut to the
Was
chase.
there a straw for that camel's back? What ticked her off?
She was storming out. She was there. It was her friend's birthday party, and then
Oh, good.
the girl whose birthday was like, I think I have to go too." Then he was like, "All right, you want to stay in here? One more offensive joke, so you can no, I gotta go."
But don't
Rogan's
you kind
offending
of
them
desire?
now.
Like, I would love to be offended. I can't imagine what it would take.
Have you ever been
Oh,
offended?
maybe a sinkhole. What?
Oh.
Like, if I saw my friends go down a sinkhole, I'd be so offended.
Boring.
I'm offended a million times a day. I'm just not a whiny bitch about it.
Yeah.
But on
Like what?
stage,
What do you get offended?
boring is the only thing that offends me. The only reason I'd walk out of a comedy show is trite.
Yes, yeah.
But if it weren't for people like that woman, and I'm not justifying her getting up and ruining the show or anything like that.
Fair
but
enough.
if it weren't for people who feel like that, then this shit wouldn't be funny. Because half of what's funny about it is watching people, try and just filter these ideas like outside of their cubicle. Somehow they've gone into a world where things aren't corporatized and ideas aren't planned out for you.
When I throw my hand up, it's because we are over talking each other.
Oh, sorry.
So when there are listeners, I hope.
Yes.
So, but yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, well, when you were, now your crowd is your crowd, but
I don't. I would never do a show here.
Stanhope crowd.
Yes.
I would never do a show here. Because
you think people would stand? Because somebody did it to Rogan the other night, and all she was going was "boo, that stinks," and he was just comparing, men not being as good as, or women not being as good as men. So I don't know why they would boo. I don't get it.
Well, I don't know.
He was just laying out the facts. He didn't even get the material yet.
Hello, Wikipedia.
We were in New Jersey at
Stress Factory?
Stress Factory with Dice.
love that place.
And he was opening for him.
It's an awesome club, and the Dice crowd that came out, it basically looked like it was 1989.
It's like John Valby.
Feathered hair.
John Valby.
Like, where'd they come from?
Do they get yet that it's an act?
No,
still not.
They still don't know.
Loving it. And this one lady stood up. She was probably about 50.
Literally stood up.
And started screaming basically the same thing. That's so rude, and you're a misogynist. And then he just goes,
What's
Lady,
a misogynist?
He goes, who the fuck do you think you're coming to see? What, do you think Seinfeld was going to be here tonight?
Yeah.
He started doing his Seinfeld impression.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Asshole people. Who are these asshole people? She got all mad and fucking, now this is disgusting.
That's why I don't, I've developed a niche death metal type of
niche
audience.
But still, that's
what it is. Death metal-y. You're right.
If you like music, you don't like death metal.
Right.
I'm a big music fan. Well, I don't like death metal. Well, I'm the death metal. I have that little kind of piece of the pie, and I play to them, and I don't go outside of my circle.
Well, he wasn't outside of his circle. It's in his crowd.
Exactly.
They still come, and they still
programmed
protest him.
his fans.
It happens all the time to him. I don't know why.
Have you guys heard anything called a seance? Yeah. What about a comedy seance? It's the best thing ever.
It's like
I do
Game
it
of Thrones.
every
I think
night.
all science is a comedy seance.
It's a comedy seance, and
It's
you're
a
all invited.
comedy.
There's like a true
That's
TV
my
executive somewhere
podcast.
going, comedy seance.
Well, can we tell you? We met Mitch in Florida. You tell the rest of that story, please, Rick.
I was sitting at the bar in the Coconut Grove Improv with O.J. Simpson.
Name dropper.
About probably 26.
Are you talking about Oj?
Well, now Mitch's murder has gotten really mysterious.
Me and Juice are sitting there having drinks, and
This only
Now it's compelling.
and I guess
Friend or foe?
Mitch had been there the week before, and he stayed to watch Dice. And
Yes, I remember.
Were you there?
Yes, yes.
I think you might have
He
been with
stayed
him.
around to watch Dice because
His mom was there.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
So he walks up, and I don't remember. If you
And
were
Dice
there.
was wearing some
He was-
half pants.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
we call them culottes, but whatever.
Fair enough.
Capri. Dice is wearing his capri pants.
Pedal pushers, if you will.
Before you end this, Mitch wrote an update on his website before y'all even knew what y'all fucking websites were.
Sure.
He wrote that it was so exciting to see Dice.
Yeah. Well,
He
was very
loved
nice.
it.
Wow,
Yeah.
touching words.
He came
Wait,
up.
so, yeah.
He walked up.
He did 3 updates on his website ever. He stunk at websites.
I grew up in a typewriter store.
Okay, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So he walked up, and I remember his mom being there, and he was like, "Hey, we went to your show," and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. It's Mitch Hedberg."
He probably didn't think you even knew who he was. That's so cool.
I think he was fairly big at that point.
Yes.
Like, every open micer was basically doing a ripoff Mitch Hedberg act at that point.
Yeah.
And he was like, "I just wanted to tell you, good show." And then he looked over, and fucking OJ with his giant head. And
Real OJ was there?
Real OJ. He's like, "Hey."
Oh my God, I want to call Mitch so bad, and I can't.
Are you friends with OJ?
He's dead.
And Mitch saw it?
Yeah. And then I remember meeting his mom and being like, "This is weird."
It's starting to get creepy.
Talking to Mitch and Mitch's mom.
See, it's starting to get really creepy. See, this is starting.
Little Mitch's mom.
Yeah, and then he goes, "Hey, we saw you earlier today." And I go, "Really? How'd you know it was me if you hadn't seen me perform yet?" And he said, "Because I saw you and I said, hey, look at that guy standing by himself in front of Hooters. Doesn't he look really sad?" Yeah, that was me. That wasn't that. I just remember standing in front of Hooters being like, "What am I going to fucking do today? This is terrible."
The way a cop can profile a perpetrator, I can profile a comic.
I'm not joking.
That guy's a comic.
Story.
He's knock-kneed, standing alone, pacing around in the back alley. He must be my opening act.
Yeah. But we actually did stay. We worked that club done and stayed longer to see Dice. And oh my God, I can't believe you were hanging out with OJ and Mitch knew it. I'm so mad at him right now.
Is that a fucking?
He better
do you have a line
email
of blow
him.
there?
No.
This is the Comedy Store. That's a ghost
That's
line.
a great. By the by, that's a great story.
Paul had.
You were talking about. That's my opening act. I had an Uber driver who turned out to be on the bill with me.
No way.
This guy's
Are you serious?
gone to the next level. Yeah.
I did Mark Maron's podcast yesterday, and then we get. It was very quick to the point. I don't think he likes me.
Is that a shit on us? All right.
Are you serious? He loves you.
I don't know. The point is, he hates everybody like I do. But we get an Uber driver at his house. He goes, "Is this the house the president was at?" And he's got a black Suburban, and he told us his story about how he had a call that day, but they were waving people away, but they saw his black Suburban and assumed that he was Secret Service and waved him up to Mark Maron's house. And then he rolled down the window and they go, no, you have to go the other way. It was very funny.
God.
I don't have a lot of funny stories from Uber drivers, but that was one.
All the kids are doing Uber bits. It's the new.
Eleanor, did you know what you bit off when you said, "Hey, let's go in the basement
No,
and
I
podcast"?
had no idea, but I'm enjoying it. I don't care. I love it. It's
I have
getting
to
bigger.
piss.
You have to piss.
We should probably wrap it up.
I don't mean to be rude, but how many times have you heard
I don't mean to be
Betty
racist,
Davis
but
eyes?
A
Right?
million times. Thank you. My mom told me to
There you
smack
go.
somebody who says it to me, though. Is that,
No.
all right. My mom said that. She's kind of nasty.
I'll fight that motherfucker. But you got Betty Davis eyes and you're
My mom's a
beautiful.
street fighter.
I'll talk to you later, you guys.
Where you going?
we're going upstairs.
Yeah, you
I gotta move.
You're never going to get out of this basement.
I will
you know
fall
that,
asleep
right?
in this chair.
I would
if
love
don't
it,
move.
but I feel like
Guys,
I'm
wait
for 2
monopolizing.
hours.
Wait,
And I loved your
wrap
story.
it up properly.
Hey, thank you for everyone
Thank
that
you
was
for
on the
coming, Doug.
Comedy Store podcast. Lynn Shawcroft at Shawcroft.
Bing
Paul
bong.
Provenza, what's your Twitter?
At Paul Provenza.
At
So
Paul
sexy.
Provenza. At Brendon Walsh. At
Joe
HD
Rogan.
Fatty. At
Oh.
Joe Rogan. At, there's a lot of people.
EJ Kerrigan.
At Lacing Cute. At Glasses O Poo Poo. Yappity Ding Dong.
How long have you had at Glasses O Poo Poo? That you didn't have to go with the
Oh my
real
God, I
glasses.
was
Since
sold
vaudeville.
at Glasses O
Glasses
Poo
of
Poo.
anyone know
poo
these
poo.
chicks?
It was a big act.
Oh, they're with Paul.
They were great.
They're
at it.
always
would
with
have
Paul.
to introduce
And
Guys
Provenza, are
got a lot of
you
his act
always
from Glasses O
busy?
Poo Poo.
You guys met at Panamint. Oh, sorry. You guys met at Panamint once.
She was at Panamint?
Yeah.
She was in Death Valley?
Yeah.
I
thought you were like a newborn.
Just be Death Valley stories.
Oh my God! Yeah, you should.
What do you mean?
Brendon Walsh will figure prominently.
We'll do I feel like she could run another Panamint.
Well, I want to do another Panamint just to get everyone back so we can recreate the story, so I can write one book just about the Death Valley.
Yes.
Because it comes up on the podcast almost every
The only reason I go is
I think the overthrow of James Inman is
doubled over
for
Pan.
sure.
James Inman was the headliner when I started open mics in Kansas City. Such an incredibly insane human being, but he'd be so nice to me, and then just immediately just snap and start yelling at people. He would yell at me.
People don't understand me.
He would be like giving me comedy advice, then he'd immediately say, and if they don't stop playing 38 Special on the fucking radio. I was like a 19-year-old kid. Just
You're like,
I don't know what you're talking. I was born in 81. I don't even listen to 38 Special. I don't know.
Well, one year Inman was voted king of the party, and then there was a violent overthrow.
There's way too much backstory.
Yeah, there's a lot of backstory.
Closing out.
We'll get to it another time.
You have beautiful skin on your cheeks.
Thank
Good
you
night.
for joining us.
This is the first Comedy Store podcast from the basement. We've had a lot of great guests, and keep listening. Come to the Comedy Store, see a comedy show. Rick Ingraham, Eleanor.
Oh, hey, can we do this as a swap cast?
Yeah, why not? That's great. Is that what you call it, a swap cast?
I've coined the term swapcast. If you have a podcast and I have a podcast, we both put it out. So there's no reason you get my listeners, I get your listeners.
Legally, yes.
So,
legally.
And ultimately, it should end on Paul Provenza's green room.
This is a long fucking swap cast. This is the Doug Stanhope Podcast. This is the Comedy Store Podcast. There's no reason to bifurcate the problem.